This podcast is brought to you by Infinite Resources, a local staffing agency connecting diverse job candidates in central Iowa companies.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Minke, President of the Urbandale Chamber of Commerce. The Urbandale Chamber is excited to provide you with this opportunity to get to know a little bit more about the candidates running for Urbandale School Board and the City Council. Thank you so much for taking the time to educate yourself on each of the candidates that are running, and we encourage you to vote on November 7th. Hello, I'm Tiffany Minke, President of the Urbandale Chamber of Commerce, and today our guest is Bridget Carberry Montgomery. She is the incumbent City Council candidate. Bridget, thank you so much for taking time with us today.
Pleasure.
We really appreciate it. So this is just an opportunity for the community and the chamber to learn a little bit more about you and why you want to continue to be a city council candidate. So I think what we'll do is we are going to get started by just allowing you the opportunity to tell us a little bit more about yourself. We are going to time the questions. So the first one will be a couple minutes, and after that, the responses will be about a minute. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Perfect. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about you?
Well, I was born and raised in Iowa City, and I went to undergraduate at Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles, and then I came back to Iowa City, and I got my master's degree in urban and regional planning, and then immediately moved over to the Metro in spring of 1999 to take a job with the city of Des Moines, where I worked for about 9 years as a neighborhood planner. My husband and I moved to Urbandale in 2007, knowing that I was going to most likely leave my job with the city of Des Moines. We were looking for good neighborhoods, good schools, trails, parks, everything that we pride ourselves so much in Urbandale. So we ended up in the Waukee School District in Dallas County, Urbandale in 2007, and that's a hard math number for me to figure out how long we've been there, but we've really enjoyed our time and getting involved in Urbandale and the schools and other community projects.
Yeah, it's a wonderful community.
Yes.
So let me ask you, is there a particular issue that motivates you to serve on the council?
Well, my background in urban planning is really kind of what opened my eyes to service on the city council. I always felt that I would run for local office. I figured that'd probably be school board because that seemed more, aligned with being a mom, and very happy at this juncture that I didn't make that choice. But I'm a servant leader, and getting involved in helping my community is really something that's important to me. So, I would say if there was one particular issue that motivated me, it was getting an aquatic center built in Urbandale. As someone that lived on the west side where an aquatic center was planned many years ago, that was something that I took personal advocacy in and was frustrated with how the city council at that time was managing it. But issues have changed a lot since then. So
Yes, they have. So you talk a little bit about your background in education. What other experiences or skills, or maybe elaborate a little bit more on that, prepare you to serve on the council?
Well, I feel like I understand municipal government, having worked as an employee for the city of Des Moines for 9 years. I felt my job as a neighborhood planner was really to be the intermediary between, Des Moines has a very strong neighborhood program, neighborhood associations, but I saw myself as an intermediary between neighbors and city departments. So, like, the city engineers didn't always want to talk to the neighborhoods, and I felt like I had the language and the knowledge to be able to translate from engineering to the public. And so that's always something that I pride myself on is making sure that we're asking questions and supporting our neighborhoods and our residents, and our local businesses to make sure that they are being heard at the council. So I also served on the Plan and Zoning Commission for 8 years. I was the representative to the Capital Improvements Committee for a number of years from the Plan and Zoning Commission. I've been very involved in the Waukee schools and also a variety of other community organizations, food pantries, and food rescue right now.
Yeah. And the city just did the listening tour with the community, which is great.
That was fantastic. I really, that was wildly successful in my opinion. We had a great turnout. I would really like to see us do that. I hope AJ is listening quarterly, maybe that's aggressive to start out with, but kind of taking our show on the road and getting out into the community. We're not as big as Des Moines or anything, but there's a big, it's a long drive down Meredith from one end to the other. So, we kind of started in the middle, Fire Station 42. I'd love to see us out in Dallas County, and I would love to see us, on the east side of the community. I think it's just really important that we make ourselves available, and that helps us build community, which I think is something that's really important that we need to focus on.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the east side of the community. Are you in favor of the city acquiring property in downtown Urbandale to partner with private developers to develop new retail shops and stimulate growth? Why or why not?
I'm in favor of trying just about anything to help our downtown area. So I'm definitely in favor of the city getting much more involved and much more aggressive. I think our council, as it is structured now and will be come January, is willing to try a lot of different things. And we're, I would say it's aggressive, what we want to do. And downtown is where we want to do it. So I want to see mixed-use development. I want to see retail. I want to see housing. I want to see what we can do. When I worked for the city of Des Moines, 70th and Douglas was what we wanted in the Highland Park neighborhood. I remember bringing a group of neighbors down to meet with Mayor Zahn at the time, we wanted to create a place. And now, 20 years later, Highland Park, it took a while, but it got to that place. It is like the place in Des Moines right now, I would say, for small businesses and restaurants. So I think we have, we can learn from that and remember where we came from, where, that streetscape project that we did at 70th and Douglas was cutting edge. And so I'm open to trying just about anything, but it takes time, it takes money, it takes dedication, not saying, and hearing no and keep going. So I see my involvement in Highland Park when I worked for the city of Des Moines kind of as my inspiration to what I want to see in downtown Urbandale.
Well, that's awesome. You just answered my other question, was what was your vision? So that works out perfectly.
We're not Highland Park. We have different bones and building-wise and, some mixed uses and some new buildings. But, we definitely have, we have enough there, I think, but we need to be, aggressive. And I feel very confident in our city staff that they understand what the council wants. And I think they've been working closely with the community, both the neighbors and the businesses there as we develop the comp plan and have a sub-area plan for downtown Urbandale.
So what do you feel are ways the city can work to encourage business and employment growth in Urbandale?
Well, as I said, I feel very, very comfortable with our economic development staff. I think we are investing in that part of our city employment. And so I feel very strongly that they are poised to lead us. We need to rely on them to implement our our vision. But I think we have a competitive set of economic development incentives in place to get the kind of development that we want to see in Urbandale. Worldwide logistics. We've got some incredibly valuable space going in on 128th Street. I don't know what the employment's going to look like there, but it's totally unique to this side of the metro, the cross dock thing that that they're building. It's quite impressive to look at it, and even the one that R&R is doing across the street. There's some serious investment that companies are making in Urbandale, and I just want to see quality investment in our community, quality revitalization. We work and business is different than it was 5 years ago when I ran, and there are people that are a lot smarter than me that can tell us how we need to work and respond to that. And I'm very open to finding new and better ways to respond to, is what we have on 121st Street, the future. Maybe we need to figure out ways to, retrofit. I mean, most of the buildings are occupied, but retrofit buildings like the Marsh Building or, I feel very confident in our staff. We want to see quality development. We want to see quality jobs, high paying, insurance providing. And I feel like our staff is really running with that and working with your staff to bring those sort of companies into Urbandale. But we can't forget about our small businesses either, because, for every worldwide logistics, we have 5 or 10, smaller businesses. You'd probably have a better handle on that. And, we also, commercial and retail. Best news I heard today is a soft opening at Donut Land. So people are very excited for the retro donuts of their childhood. So I'm anxious to get out there and try that. So I think we have what we need in place, and it's just it's continuing to evolve.
Perfect. Well, let's talk a little bit about the new comprehensive plan. How do you expect to change development opportunities in Urbandale with the new comprehensive plan?
Well, I don't know that it's going to change what we're doing a whole lot. I think it's focusing on the areas that we need to have focus. I mean, Urbandale, east of the interstate doesn't have a whole lot, left to develop other than Plum Drive and North Park, and that's where we're focusing our efforts on new development in the plan. And then we've already talked about downtown Urbandale as a redevelopment area. So I'm really excited. I think we have a great partnership with our consultants, and I'm looking forward to getting through the approval process. But I don't see it really changing the development patterns in Urbandale a whole lot. I just see us focusing more on those areas of opportunity in the urban loop that we have already identified, and just having a fresh set of eyes. It's been 20 plus years since we've had a comp plan, and so this will help us guide development, hopefully not for 20 years, maybe 10, if I'm going to put my planner hat back on, and hopefully it won't stay that long. But I'm looking forward to it, and there's also lots of opportunity for smaller scale development as we move westward. We're really lacking, much of any commercial or retail or any businesses.
Yeah, very residential heavy.
West of 128th Street. So it's heavily residential, but I don't want to have to go to Waukee all the time or West Des Moines to get services. So I'd love to see more. But I mean, we don't have to have everything all at once. It's where it's appropriate. So.
Okay. What do you believe is the number one responsibility of city government to its citizens?
Well, this is the one question that I definitely pondered the longest. But I really think, ultimately we're here to provide high quality services and supports for our residents, our businesses, and visitors. That's police and fire, road maintenance, clearing, library services. Everything that we do is important. Some obviously, emergency services are more important, but library, parks and rec, those are all very important things that we do. And it's important that we do those well, but we do them efficiently and effectively, with, the taxpayer in mind. But I think there's ways that we can continue. Since I've been on the council, we've lowered our tax levy 15 cents, but I feel like we've significantly improved the way we deliver services without having to raise taxes. I hope we can continue to do that. Unfortunately, our legislature has given us a lot of requirements on how we're going to be budgeting, and nobody quite knows how that's going to play out come January. So, but I think fundamentally our job is to provide high quality services that are cost effective.
Perfect. I'm going to end with one final question. What is one thing you want to accomplish in a 4-year term on council?
Well, this is the same thing I would have said in a discussion 4 years ago. So maybe in 4 years, if I decide to do this again, I'll have accomplished something. But I think Urbandale needs to focus on our housing stock. We need to focus on expanding, revitalizing our housing stock for people of all backgrounds, all ages, all housing types. Affordable housing is something that we don't have a lot of. We have some naturally occurring affordable housing on the east side of our community. I was campaigning over on the east side this weekend. I mean, in the area, north of downtown, there are beautiful small starter homes there, very well-maintained neighborhoods, and we need to make sure that we're continuing to reinvest in those neighborhoods to keep the housing stock up and do what we can to keep them affordable. I imagine they don't technically meet the definition of affordable, but we need to be aggressive in getting affordable workforce housing in Urbandale. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of undeveloped ground in Polk County, Urbandale to do that, and the prices in Dallas County are expensive to acquire land, so we need to figure that out, and I don't know how to do it, but I feel confident that I'm the right person to keep asking the questions. Like, my background, as I've said, in urban planning, I specialized in housing and economic development, so I feel like I have the right set of tools in my arsenal to ask the right questions. And again, I feel real confident in our staff that they are taking the opportunities as they come. But we need to take a deeper dive with the Polk County Housing Trust Fund, with the Dallas County Housing Trust Fund, and other nonprofit housing providers to look at workforce housing. We can't have economic development and job creation unless we're taking a holistic look, and that includes affordable housing, transit. That's another podcast we can do.
Yes, we could
talk to you about transit. But we have to take a holistic look at things, because it all does, in my mind, come back to economic development and being able to support our businesses. We need to have a solid infrastructure of housing, ways to people to get their job, a solid school system, healthcare opportunities. I'm really excited about the Total Health Campus, I think is what it's called. Sorry. That's going to be an amazing asset for Urbandale to bring all of those healthcare services to Urbandale. So yeah, we've got a lot going on. It's an exciting time to be in Urbandale, and I look forward to serving for another 4 years.
That's wonderful. Bridget, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it, and the best of success in the future.
Thank you.
Thanks.